Well, hi, everyone. This is Matt Kramer, digital editor with allthingsinsights.com. And here we are at TMRE, the Market Research Event 2025. We have the pleasure of being with Elisa Vitalo. Um, you're the Vice President, Insights, Product Marketing, and Digital Experience at GoodRx. Um, thank you so much for coming on and being with us today.
Well, thank you for having me. It's great.
Well, the whole show has the theme of the next era of insights. Obviously, there's lots of talk about AI and the human intelligence factor as well in
hmm
that mix. Just what are your thoughts of this next era, or the future of insights?
Sure. I think we talked a little bit about this before. I think that there's going to be a lot more need for researchers to be sort of these Swiss Army knives of research, where they really understand a lot of different methodologies and skill sets that traditionally in the past they haven't always had to do. So when I started in research, you could be a very clear qualitative researcher, you could be a very clear quantitative researcher. I don't think that's going to exist in the course of the next 5 years, the next 10 years. I think really being a truly mixed method researcher is going to be extremely imperative. And then I think AI is going to come in and help with some of the ideation, help with some of the more sort of operational tasks and expedite some of the analysis. But I think the human touch is actually going to be even more important than it has been before. AI is going to be great at telling us what people have already articulated. It's not going to be great at helping us to uncover those nuggets that are what really great researchers are able to do to drive innovation, and to think about what the next step in product development will be, to understand what the emotion really is that connects with a user or a consumer. And so I think the ability for researchers to be able to understand that is going to be even more important.
Well, speaking of that future researcher, um, well, you talked about the mixed method approach. Um, And the Swiss Army knife, of course, I love that comparison, and, you know, I think you mentioned to me once before about competitive advantage. I mean, how was do all these skills play into that on a team? I mean, I imagine it's different now, as you're saying, from those days if you were just specializing in one
Mhm.
skill.
I mean, I think having a research team that's able to blend those skills provides a competitive advantage from the speed with which you're able to develop the insights and be able to create them into something that's actionable for the organization. I also think it's imperative to be able to find the nuggets that I was talking about in a lot of different places and be able to bring those to market a lot more quickly. So I think having researchers as individuals and research teams as a whole that can combine all of these skill sets, you can consolidate your data a lot faster. You can get to the real crux of the insight and the innovation a lot faster. And all of that is going to make you more competitive in the market.
Yeah, I mean, is the team, well, obviously, it starts with the leadership, of the team, and, you know, in terms of um, doing doing all of these various tasks and with limited resources, I guess let me put it this way: is AI and all this influx of tools and solutions and services and so-called solutions? I mean, uh, you know, is there less emphasis on the kind of do-it-yourself trend, or is it just still ever present? Does that always strike a chord with the researcher?
I think that always strikes a chord with the researcher, and I think the do-it-yourself just shifts a little. So it's what are you leveraging AI to do for you and enable you to do it yourself? And then, what are you still doing in that traditional DIY type of, methodological grouping or skill set that you have? I don't think it takes away from that. I don't think we're ever going to get to a place where AI is going to do all of the research for it and be able to do it in a way that really brings the human touch that you need, that makes consumer insights special. But I think that it's just going to be a tool to help enable that.
Now, speaking of TMRE, and I know it's only day one, I mean, what trends do you see out there that you feel is kind of the next wave of evolution in the insights world? I mean, one little point is Qual having a moment?
I think Qual is having a moment. I think every time you come to these conferences, it oscillates. So one year it's qual, one year it's quant, one year it's AI, one year it's data analytics. It kind of varies depending on where the trends are. I think qual is having a bit of a moment with AI moderation, more of the AI analysis of qualitative interviews. Um, so I think that it definitely is, but I think a lot of what I'm seeing are the qualitative AI tools that we can use to start to do idea generation. I was talking to a vendor earlier who was talking about using synthetic audiences just to start ideation, to start your thought process of where you might go with research. And that was actually a use case I hadn't thought of before. And I was because I've been skeptical of synthetic audiences, but I was like, okay, I can get on board with that in a qualitative capacity. So I think, a lot of those tools are kind of where it's going.
So there's all these tools and solutions. There's the Swiss Army knife of solutions, the Swiss Army knife of the skills of the researcher, and this future researcher. Is it more geared towards being a business consultant nowadays?
I definitely think so, and I think, that's where researchers have been trying to get to for a long time. We've been trying to become more business consultative in a way and have those insights leveraged within the organization, and I think the insights teams that have been really successful have been able to take on that role. And so I think that that's how you're going to see insights, grow as a team and a function is how do we become more strategists? And that's part of the reason why I also own, product marketing and I also own digital experience on our team because, insights and product marketing and digital experience, it's all a part of one big strategy. So how do we make sure that those things are coming together? And I think insights is going to take more and more of a role in other organizations in that way.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Elisa, for coming on and
Thank
talking to
you.
us about insights. Have a great rest of the show.
Thank you so much.
Thank
It's great.
you.
Have a good one.